Microsoft Theater here in downtown Los Angeles. Brought to you by Shawn Porter Promotions.
You can't do that.
That's what he did.
Live from
Matter of
Los
fact,
Angeles.
speaking of weak stuff, he used to come out to Christian songs all the time.
That's not. Oh, that's weak.
No, I'm just saying. You know, I would come out to like DMX. See what I did there?
What's your intro song?
DMX.
Well, no, what DMX? Rough Rider. Which?
I can't think of no DMX right now.
Okay.
Why you gonna put me on the spot?
And we'll come back to it. All right, just take your moment. Zatel, what would you come out to?
Ooh, The Champ by Ghostface Killer.
Ooh, the Champ by
is here?
Ghostface Killer. I'm gonna have to check that one out.
Or Desire by Pharoah Monch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know that. You know
Yes,
Desire.
sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yep.
I always, like Antt said, I always kept it to the gospel. I always felt like my career, me fighting the whole nine, was a part of my testimony. You know what I mean? So that's why I always came out to gospel music. What's your intro song?
DMX.
What's your intro?
Bring it. What? We right here.
I got you. All right.
Okay, I just want you to hear.
All right.
Okay.
I'll make sure Mac is the DJ.
Okay.
And then
You came out to Tupac Bone Thugs. For the Brooks fight.
yeah. I got way outside my.
You did? I didn't know.
Yeah. So, and that was the thing for Carson for a minute. Was like
hyping you up?
No. His thing was when you came out to that song, and then I lost the fight. He said you should have came out with the gospel.
Why Carson do that?
Yeah.
I was looking
Yeah.
out for Sean because Carson probably prefers the thug love from Tupac and Bone Thugs, but he's,
yeah.
he's looking for your best interest. So
Nah,
he said,
I don't know. Carson is Carson.
What was your best entrance? I like the last one.
The last one was the best one.
The last one was classic.
The last one was the best one. I just tried it at the end. I was just trying to have some fun at the end. I found, I think it's called Brighter Day. I found a remix of Pharrell and Kurt Franklin, and I came out to a Pharrell and Kurt Franklin song one time. I think it's called Brighter Day. Might have been Adrien Granados, maybe something like that. Yep. This is the PorterWay Podcast. Antt with 2 T's. Shawn Zatel. What is it? Is it just Shawn Zatel on YouTube?
it is.
Shawn
that.
Shawn Zatel on YouTube. The next thing we do, I should have done that. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna get Shawn Zatel on YouTube on your
And I got
on your next
little-
thing.
cross marketing.
Showtime Sean P. We kind of, before. So here's the thing. You can see what we were talking about before the show actually started. And then when the show started, we just continued to have the conversation that we were having. But you can go over to our Patreon right now, patreon.com/TPWP, or just download the app. Enter TPWP, and there's a tier on there for you. Subscribe, please. There's a lot of content there, a lot of the behind-the-scenes content that you just don't see on the PorterWay Podcast. You get the giggles and laughs, but now on that side over there, you can see why we're laughing and giggling. Go over to our Patreon and subscribe now.
Message.
Okay.
I did an interview with man. I'm so high. I was excited to do this interview I did with Claressa Shields just yesterday morning.
Whoa, how was that?
It was great, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was top to bottom great. 20 minutes, in and out. And y'all know me. I try to be respectful. They tell me 15, 20, and we cut it right at 20. So I'm just impressed with myself. And on top of that, it was a really great interview. Some of the things you don't know about Claressa Shields and all those kinds of things where she's trying to do in the boxing game. She talks a little bit about fighting in the MMA, which is hard to train for, compete, all that kind of stuff. That's all over there on our Patreon, so go ahead and subscribe. You want to show the clip real quick, or are we good?
Which clip?
Never mind. Moving along.
So what a couple things she talking about?
He said which clip?
Alicia, her future in boxing, moving up.
Yeah.
Talk about all that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She called Alicia a B?
No. You know,
I wish I would have got that out of her.
we're not going there.
Well, sometimes you got to go there.
Well, you didn't wake up early enough to do the interview.
Well, shit happen.
To me, she's not just a great fighter. She is the GOAT.
Yeah.
Her accomplishments say that. That's not my opinion. She's won 2 gold medals and basically undisputed in 3 divisions. I think she's undisputed in 2. In the 3rd division, she grabbed 2 or 3 out of the 4 belts. She was the unified lineal champion. She's about to be the heavyweight champion. Only
No respect.
No, I mean, she's the best, so I expect her to go out and perform like the best. And,
Absolutely.
You know, there is only 22 fighters, I believe, in the 175-pound female heavyweight division. But any division she's in, she's going to be the best, I believe. And,
Absolutely.
And she, to me, exceeds she's to me is becoming an all-time great American athlete beyond just boxing. To me, she is really like the Serena of female boxing. I always forecasted that for her.
Yeah.
I remember being on a media bus heading to Canelo versus Liam Smith in Dallas. And some great writers, guys I really respect, were kind of laughing and scoffing at the notion of her ever making $1 million purse in female boxing. I feel pretty sure she has, and if she hasn't, she's accumulated so many hundreds of thousands of dollars purses that she's made millions of dollars in her career. And been so dominant as a female boxer, she's had to go to MMA because there's nothing else really to do. And just lastly on Claressa, I think the thing I'm proud of her most of is it's great that she's this great fighter. She and she might want to beat me up for saying it, but she's kinder and kind of easier to approach now than she was coming out of the Olympics. Sure. When she was coming out of the Olympics, she had that chip on her shoulder, and it'll always be there from Flint. But I feel like she's a warmer, more approachable person now, I think, because she's secure in what she's accomplished. She knows what she is. And,
one thing I really take pride in when it comes to the PorterWay Podcast is the fact that I truly do believe that we have we have developed some things and predicted, for the sake of words, some things. We've exposed some things that a lot of people never really knew. And for an example, Bruce Carrington, Tiger Johnson, some of those young guys that we've had on our platform, quote unquote, from day one since they've turned professional. We got those guys coming out of the Olympic Games. And I've been telling a lot of people for a long time, it takes time to develop a fighter. It takes time for a fighter to mature himself, herself, and become who they actually end up being at the end of their career or midpoint of their career, so on and so forth. I mean, look at Canelo Alvarez. It took him almost to the end of his career to start actually doing interviews in English. So when you're talking about how Claressa Shields is more approachable and kinder now than she was when she first turned pro, she didn't understand when she first turned pro, and nobody told her, like, hey, you gotta do these interviews, and you gotta be approachable, you gotta be kind, you gotta be something that people want to talk to so that they can expose you more. She learned that along the way. One of the things that we've done from day one is show people, like, hey, get on ESPN Plus. Get on and watch the undercards that when Showtime was around, that were on the Showtime YouTube, because those are the guys that you're going to see at the top in the next 2 to 3 years. Look at Bruce Carrington, great night of boxing, and then you got the man the monster himself in the arena. The monster's at the top, and what we say when Carrington was turning pro, eventually he'll be there, and he's on his way there. So that's one thing I really do think separates us from anybody else. I feel like we're able to expose and tell people what other platforms aren't able to tell them.
Well, it's perfect that you mentioned Canelo, because they have always reminded me of each other in that way. That Canelo, as he grew, as a champion and as a man, he went from the young, hotshot, good-looking, red-haired kid from Mexico who to this humble and more gracious family man. And I always think it's encouraging to see people, as they gain money and fame, actually mature and become better. Because I've certainly, unfortunately, seen the opposite, where they begin humble and gracious and actually get worse as money and fame comes their way. Canelo and Claressa have been the opposite. They've gotten better as they've grown in success.
So that was a really good, fun interview. Also, you hear her talk about how she's more approachable in the way she speaks now, opposed to how when she turned pro and the first half of her career, whatever. So going over to the Patreon and subscribe. Also, real quick, I just want to promo this again. We still have our sweepstakes open for the next, I think, 21-ish days. The opportunity to come out here to Las Vegas and get in the ring with myself live on the PorterWay Podcast. I deal with Give an Hour, which is an organization geared towards helping people with mental health and those mental health struggles. And they do a lot with retired vets as well. So we want you to go on over to that platform, that website. Read the fine print, and make your donations and all that good stuff. And come on out here and get in the ring with me. You get 1 full 3-minute round to have some fun. Don't come out here on some gangster dumb stuff, because I will get you. Just like I'm gonna get you.
I ain't fighting.
He talking about what you say?
I want disability.
I want disability.
No,
we got your walkout music now.
No.
Yeah, we got you.
I let my son got me.
We right here.
Fight my sons. Hey, fight my son.
No, it ain't happening.
I'm good.
On to some boxing, right? Or we good? We good? We
Yeah,
good?
we got it.
Would you take Antt on in MMA rules, or is it by?
No. It's only boxing. Only boxing.
Hey,
Only
hey,
boxing.
I didn't think about that one. That's why I
Only
need you as a
boxing.
manager.
I mean, it wasn't
Hey, that changes everything.
That changed everything.
Why his lights lit up?
You trying to do it? You want to do that?
MMA? Yeah, we can do MMA. Yeah, I'm gonna beat you in MMA. That's
All right, so. And
but I'm not getting it right now.
No. Stop that. The opportunity.
No. Because
the event will be live on the PorterWay Podcast, and then after the fun festivities of us, the fans and myself, and then Antt and I will do what they do, 4 minutes?
I don't even
Or
like
5
MMA.
minutes.
They do 5-minute rounds.
We'll do 1 5-minute round.
No, because I'll make him tap, and then that.
We're gonna do 1 5-minute round MMA. We're gonna put on the MMA gloves. You know, I got some of them at home.
No, I'm gonna make you
And
tap.
before that, though, Zattel and I will get in the ring and do one round as well.
So that's what I get for getting you this MMA match.
Hey, you got all your gear.
Okay.
It don't make
He got
sense.
boxing
for it.
gear?
He got it all.
I don't got a cup.
I ain't got a cup.
I don't got a cup.
So we
You know, on the inside, Sean, that it gets a little borderline with you. I gotta.
August 10th is the day of the event. So like I said again, go to the website and put in your donations and all that good stuff. Looking forward to see who wins. I do believe we'll have 2 winners, and you guys come on out. We'll have a great time. All that being said, now can we get to some boxing?
Yes.
Should we touch the last one first since he's not here?
Sure.
Oh man, we got a big announcement.
He said, "Oh man."
We got a big announcement. My guy Shane Mosley versus Daniel Jacobs.
Yeah.
I got this text message when I was in Louisiana on vacation. She's like, Shane's fighting a guy named Daniel Jacobs. I said, what?
She said.
She says, Shane's fighting a guy named Daniel Jacobs.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did not see that
I said,
coming.
good fight.
Yeah, it's a good
So
fight.
we got a good fight.
See that coming.
Definitely all day rolling my guy Shane Mosley. He ought to be on it.
Is this fight happening at 160 or 168?
160.
Ooh.
Is it?
160.
Jacobs is gonna get down to 60?
I guess so.
I like Jacobs at 60. I like him at 60.
You don't dislike the fact that he's, well into his 30s and
Older.
has to come back
He
from
is.
68 to 60?
He
You
is.
think that's actually a good weight cut for him, not a
Thought
tough
it was
one?
until you said that.
Yeah, I was just asking.
I thought it was until you asked that.
Yeah.
You know, I think I could be wrong.
BoxRec says super middle.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
thought
that's
that's
super
why I was surprised
Yeah,
that it would be at middleweight.
10
Yeah.
rounds.
Yeah. What do you think? I think
68.
you think Shane is better at 60 or 68?
Probably 60.
I think
but
better at 60.
But the timing of this fight, if ever there was a moment Shane Mosley Jr. could win this fight, it'd be now.
Yes.
When Jacobs has been inactive, he's made a lot of money. I don't really think he's that hungry anymore. You know, he's a smart guy who's made a lot of money, been a world champion at middleweight, IBF champ.
Yeah.
But if ever Mosley Jr. is going to win this fight, I got love for Shane too.
Yeah.
Seen him, but because he'd always be a big underdog in this matchup. He's still going to be an underdog in this fight. But not that Shane is so many years younger than Jacobs, but he's fresher and has to be more hungry. He needs this fight more than Daniel Jacobs. Does that mean he's going to win it? Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But he does have more to fight for, I think.
And you got Shane. I mean, Danny's just been out the ring. We've been looking for Danny, I think, me and Sean, for years. Since 2020, he fought 1 time. Since 2020, Shane's fought 5 times.
There you go.
So it's just like I said, I think it's perfect timing for Shane. Older guy, inactive. The hunger's not. I don't think the hunger's there anymore. But Shane has to be on it.
Yeah.
No laws like we see at Shane fight sometimes. We need the Gabe Rosado performance where you on it every round, every second. You can't be taking shots. You can't be there to get hit. He's a veteran at the end of the day.
Yeah. The first time I met Daniel Jacobs, 15 years old, at the Silver Gloves National Tournament, I had been there probably 5 times and never won the tournament. Excuse me, only won the tournament once the year before when I was 14. So coming back at 15, I've been there at 10 years old, 11 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old. Never won it. Won it when I was 14. I came back the next year like I'm the guy. I'm better than I was last year, and I was on my stuff last year, right? And I draw Daniel Jacobs in the semifinals. I don't know what you're showing me right
This is
now.
the box rec, his amateur box rec.
Oh yeah, that's
It's got it in black and white, Shawn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Listen, man, he's showing me Daniel Jacobs.
I think that was the first time.
Amateur box rec.
That was
So
the
go
first
ahead,
time.
go ahead and check out Daniel
Y'all
Jacobs
fought 4
box rec.
times?
We fought. I feel like
Wow.
we fought 5 times.
No, 5 times.
Yeah.
Shawn only got one win.
One. Yeah.
Was he 6 foot then too, or
To my-
5'11", 5'10"?
To my story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the one that they probably don't got on there is the one I'm talking about. So I think we might have fought 6 times.
Oh.
And I only got 1 win on him. Maybe I might have 2.
So
But-
you were Jake LaMotta, he was Sugar Ray Robinson in the 6 fights.
Somebody said back in the day
Yeah.
we were Shane Mosley and Vernon Forrest. And I was like, when the dude said that to me, I was like gave me like butterflies. Like, damn, I can never beat this guy, you know. Anyway, so check it out. So I never seen him before. 15 years old, never seen him, and drew him in the semifinals. I'm like, it's a cakewalk. I don't know this guy. I've been here. I know everybody, and I've never seen him. I underestimated him. He got out in the first round, and I think I started a little soft or slow because of and because I didn't know him. It was like I underestimated him, but he was on his joint. That whole fight when we were 15 years old, pointed at, that was his first national tournament. He had probably, I think he had like less than 20 fights at that point in time. He had just started boxing. Naturally gifted athlete, naturally gifted boxer. That's who Shane got in front of him. So I got a feeling that even though Danny has done a whole lot, probably don't need to do no more, but still has some sort of love and hunger for this thing, he can still wake up and do it the way a lot of people can't do it after months and months of training and years and years of other fights. You know, like we just said, 5 fights against none in the last 4 years. Against one in the last 4 years, but he can
Lost a close fight to Ryder.
Yeah.
And he's just naturally gifted. You know what I mean? So I think if he can tap into that, this might be a really good fight. The thing that has always bothered me about Shane, he's always underperformed. And he can't, number one, he can't afford to do that from a standpoint of winning and losing, but also from a standpoint of gaining fans. You got fans because of your name, and then you got fans because you're a good-looking guy. You were in the contender. People know some things about you. Yes, we see that you have some wins and some losses, but you need something that's going to take you over the top. His work rate needs to be high, especially you getting in the ring with an older guy who really want to. He probably, the way he training is probably how he going to fight, which is relatively slow-paced. You gotta have to have a higher work rate, which is something that he lacks, and he gotta let that right hand go. Mm-hmm. This is the fight he need to make a statement. If he don't make that statement, he gonna stay exactly where he's at.
Yeah, this is it's a crossroad fight.
And Shane, I wish you were here because I would have said that to you.
Yeah.
To your point, Shawn, about go ahead, my bad.
No, I just feel like at the same time he's Shane Mosley's son and junior, he has got to the point where he's starting to get out of that light, where he's starting to establish who he is as a person, which that's what I know he's been fighting to get out of. But yeah, no, this is one of the ones, like, the best performance I've ever seen was Shane's Gabriel Rosado. I don't know if you guys remember that fight.
Yeah.
But it just, I don't know if Shane fights to his opponent or not. And there's a lot of people do stuff like that. If you need to be focused for a fight, this is the fight.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what that disconnect is for him, but I know out of the last 5 fights he's had, 2 of them I've said, whoa.
Yeah.
But the complete opposite for the other 3.
Yeah.
The other 3, I was like,
Yeah.
please get back in the ring next month.
2 and 5 and 3.
No, the other 3. 2 of the fights.
Put up 3. Okay. All right.
Yeah, like that.
Shawn having a long weekend, guys. He sparred yesterday.
I took these.
I know, Shawn.
Yeah, I've been sparring a little bit, just a little bit. Nothing serious.
But Shawn, to your point about Jacobs is going to train at a certain pace in his camp and probably show up and fight at that pace. Is he probably training for a knockout? He's not really going to try and win every round 1 through 12. and he
10 rounder.
Oh, it's a 10 round. Okay, so not really trying. Is that something Shane Jr. could take advantage of? It's a veteran who's probably going to try and find your leak here or there, crack you with power, get you out of there, because he's not really trying to box all 10 rounds at this stage. Is that something Shane Jr. could?
I've never really seen or known fighters that train for
a knockout. Right. But
I can honestly say that there's been some guys that their thing is I got to get you or I'm not gonna win.
Right.
I think Droley has kind of been, or up until recently was kind of that guy. Like he just was training to get in shape because I'm going in the ring and I'm gonna knock you out. But I don't know too many fighters that train like that.
Well, I guess, I mean, as you get older and you're not trying to be as bouncy with your feet sometimes, and by nature of you being a little bit more planted, because you can't bounce in and out as much as you did when you're younger. Yeah, in that sense, are you fighting more towards a knockout than you would earlier, you know, trying to switch and move laterally? Because Jacobs, we've seen him do that in the past. You think in this fight, you see more of like Nonito as he got older and won some of those title fights against it, more settled and trying to sit down on stuff even more so. And
I gotta say, man,
I mean, he's done that at various points. He knocked out Mora early doing that.
Yeah. But that fight was a little bit different because Mora was pushing. He was pushing the pace, and Danny got cracked, and then it was like fighting out of protection, and also I gotta you know. And it became that kind of fight. That's kind of what I want for this. I want these guys to just go in there and go at it. You know what I mean?
Should dictate the pace and
absolutely
keep it up here the whole fight.
Right.
And
force
see if
Danny,
Daniel can match it.
Force
make
it.
the older fighter have to.
The old inactive.
Because my bet is that Danny is going to come into the ring and fight really methodically. You know, try to pick his punches. Yeah, be the vet.
Right.
Try to make it through the rounds without getting touched, and then touch you here and there. That kind of situation. I don't want that kind of fight. You know, I don't know. Because I don't
never want that fight.
I want that.
And
kind
you know
of
both of the guys, so you gonna call them both and tell them, give me a fight?
Come on, let's go. I didn't see this fight coming for either guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I really felt like I was like, my spirit is telling me that Daniel Jacobs needs to get in the ring with the young kid, Edgar Berlanga. Yeah. And I thought that they were gonna make that happen. I think I had seen a post. They were at a basketball game, kind of talking together. But I know Berlanga, you know, he got somebody handling the business. Like and everything is about Canelo right now.
That fight not good for him.
Nah, everything is about Canelo right now. Yeah, that's not a good fight for Berlanga, but I wanted it for
Either
him.
one of those guys not good for
Yeah,
him.
so I mean, and I was like, okay, maybe the winner gets Berlanga.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I think the winner should get Berlanga.
That's bad for Berlanga.
Yeah.
Might get banged.
Yeah.
Or beat both of them, the winner of it. Yeah, he's...
I think he'd have hit his peak.
Strike one should tell.
He'd have hit his peak in life.
What I
You
do?
give Berlanga a shot versus one of these guys?
Versus the winner? Absolutely, yeah.
Punch a chance?
No, more than that. He might be the favorite.
Damn.
He'll be the favorite.
Yeah.
He'll be the favorite.
That means?
That don't mean it to me.
Right,
Yeah,
but...
Not to me.
Just not a boxer.
Yeah,
Not a I kind of compare. I want to take a shot. I compare him to Wilder.
Wilder was the favorite against some good, Luis Ortiz was pretty good.
If you can
Wilder's
survive
the favorite.
you take him deep waters. It's like
I did when I did the announcement on DAZN. I know we going off script a little bit, but when I did the announcement for DAZN for Terence Crawford's next fight,
Madrimov.
they had Berlanga come up and we did a little interview, and I got a couple of opportunities to talk to him a little bit. He seems to really love boxing. We turned around and we're literally just watching the press conference, and he leaned in me. He said, "Man, I love this, man. I don't know what I would be doing if it wasn't for boxing."
Right.
He's like, "Probably working at McDonald's or something." And then we laughed. Like, that kind of energy. Like, I'm impressed with that kind of energy because it takes a whole lot to be in this and want to do it and all those kinds of things. And when you get a lot of people saying how much you lack, and you still love it and you still want to do it, that means it's something else. it ain't about the people or something like that. So to your point, there's something about the kid, obviously, that's got him to the point he's at right now. And maybe that something factor that we may not know exactly what that is could be what beats a Daniel Jacobs that's clearly a better boxer and has more experience, or Shane Mosley who's almost a better boxer in terms of just straight up and down skill and things of that nature.
Right. I mean, what got him there is the 18 knockout streak.
Yeah.
That's the hype.
Right.
Yeah.
Top ranked building, right?
Right. He could crack, and he's a tough kid from LeBron. He's in the right profession.
Let's handle AB real quick and Blair Cobbs.
Yes.
Man, y'all watched that? Yeah. I seen you call him it.
I had a round by round.
You had a round by round?
That was entertaining, man.
I had a little bit of a round by round.
Yeah, Sean stopped after a while.
If I was in Vegas, I'd have asked you to join me. But
I felt like Sean went every 3 rounds, 2 or 3 rounds. He said something. Go ahead, Zaina.
Well, this is kind of what I was getting at with Mosley. His path to victory against Jacobs is, being busier and more enthusiastic against the older, more accomplished guy, like Cobbs was with Broner. And Cobbs, Broner, I think part of why Broner went down against Cobbs and he didn't go down against much greater fighters than Manny Pacquiao, Mikey Garcia, yourself, is because he was trying to win. And when he fought you and when he fought those guys, he was trying to survive. And so he's not coming forward out of the high guard like he did all night against Cobbs. And so when he got hit with that left hand in round 2, he walked into it with really little to no respect for what Cobbs was throwing. And so, oh, shit.
It was a shocking knockdown.
Right.
He was hurt, but it was the first round, a little shocking. I'm a little cold.
Well, George Foreman, sometimes you started to think that it was just, old country George Foreman whistling cliches, but there's a reason why George Foreman, every HBO telecast, would place so much emphasis on who has the better sweat built up heading into the ring. The worst thing you want to do is go in there dry. And Broner looked dry.
You don't hear people talk about that anymore.
No.
As the fight starts.
Right.
Yep.
Right. No, you don't.
Yep.
So Cobbs just isn't that much younger than him, but we talked about this last week. He's so much younger than him, mileage on the body wise, number of fights wise, moving up and down in weights and outside the ring lifestyle and everything. And that all caught up with Broner. And it caught up with Broner some years ago. This isn't new, but we still thought maybe he could be a guy. I mean, we did wind up picking Cobbs last week, but we thought, maybe Cobbs is a front runner. And shout out to Justin Gamber, who I went to go see Justin and Blair a week or 2 ago before the fight. And Justin Gamber, who took Caleb Plant to a world title. And then when Caleb fought Canelo, he brought in a lot of other secondary trainers, and that kind of lessened Justin's voice in there. And then ultimately they parted ways after he lost that fight. Yeah. So Justin Gamber gets some redemption through this performance because he is a very high boxing IQ coach. Maybe to some people he doesn't look the part, but he's a very, very high intellect boxing guy. And Justin told me, I told Blair straight up, you front run in some of your fights. We can't do that in this fight. And Blair didn't do that. He was able to maintain 1 through 10. Yeah. AB tried his best to speed him up, make him panic a little bit, exert energy. Yeah. But Blair moved just enough, and he has so much more life in his legs. Broner's always been fast from the waist up, but not as quick with his feet, not as educated with his feet. But his, it just reminds me of Zab Judah back in the day, where this time Zab's focused. And at some point, you lose so many of those big fights, and even that great talent that tantalizes people, that makes people think maybe this is the time, that ship starts to sail. Your hand speed ain't the same. Your reflexes aren't the same. And so Broner's at a stage now, even when he tries to turn it on, some of those gifts have left him from what they once were. Yeah.
The body can't do what he wants to do.
Yes.
And I've seen that in the fight. I'm like, he's fighting like Broner at 135, 140. When at the end of the day, he ain't got that. You get longer in your career, Sean made adjustments. Michael Jordan went from playing above the rim to the jump shot. It's just adjustments that I haven't seen from Broner yet in his career. In his mind, he's still Broner. Yeah. I still can get my shit off and get back, get in and out. I'm fast like that. I'm that guy.
In my mind, while I'm watching it, he's still Broner. Oh, my God. I'm like, you a check hook away, bro.
He tried it though over and over.
He tried it over and over,
then
I haven't seen that in a long time. And so when I saw
Blair was out the way though.
I saw that he was trying it. I'm like, yo, you're thinking and behaving like you used to.
The body can't do.
The whole fight. I'm in my hand like. I was watching it like you a check hook away. I remember that punch. You know what I mean?
I bet you do.
No, shut up.
you did it.
Well, no, it kind of a microcosm of his career at times. All of a sudden, it flashed at the bell.
Yeah.
At the bell at the end of literally the end of the fight.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, a zippy combination comes out.
Yeah.
An old vintage Adrien Broner combo comes out, and it's like that wasn't there.
You know what that is?
Yeah.
I like to tell people, I was telling the kids that I was training the other day, you have to be both willing and able. You know what I mean? You can't lack either. If you know that zipping combination at the end of the fight, you have to be able to do that. He's able to do it. We saw that. But then mentally, you got to be willing to do it. He wasn't willing to do it every single round, all round, because of probably fear of gassing out. I would imagine that's the number one thing. And then, of course, the return. If you're that close to somebody and you're getting off a double jab in the right hand, what's the return going to be? Because, again, what comes with the return is my defense. You know what I mean? What I'm saying now is your heart rate increases from it all. Your heart rate's going to increase from the triple jab in the right hand. Then your heart rate is going to increase from the defense that you got to use. Then if you're not Shawn Porter, you're taking a step back to get that distance, that range, and then you're starting over again. You know what I mean? So that when you take that step back and create that range, now all of a sudden, consciously, now you feel your heart. In the moment, you don't feel any of it. Don't. But when I step back and I go to get my breath, now mentally, I'm feeling it all. I'm feeling it in my legs. I'm feeling it in my shoulders, my arms. I haven't been here in a long time. I used to do that. I don't know if I could. And it's just too much. You know what I mean? So we can see that he was able. He just wasn't willing.
That's why the mouthpiece kept coming out?
Oh, I didn't know you was going to go there.
Yeah, I was going to go there. Maybe the tools, maybe just... He had his mouth open a lot, man.
Damn.
Damn, that was in the second round, too.
Oh, AB.
I was like, dang, AB about to get cleaned up like this. I did want him to finish on his feet. I mean, it's one of those things. Yeah, I think it's at a point. I don't know.
The knockdown was in the first round.
Second round.
The knockdown was in the
second round.
Oh, it was the second round. Damn, I thought it was the first round.
I think we all at the point now. It's just we over there. This fight, I'm about to show you this fight.
Yeah.
I think AB, you lied to us enough. It's like the day they say I'm coming to pick you up. You ain't coming to pick us up.
Oh, damn.
And shout out to everybody that daddy and that parent got to. I've been there.
I've been wishing.
Yes, I have. I've been there.
I've been wishing for Adrien that somehow he could have broken to Hollywood for the longest now. Because
broken to Hollywood?
he
Okay.
put him on, put him on some gangster shit. Like put him on Power or something. Like he
I like that. BMF. I like that.
he is more authentic and entertaining than a lot of people that make it in Hollywood. And I think casted in some right roles, he could deliver a little bit and be authentic. And so, but yeah, it's tough. The way he's going out there with the tooth and everything is the way a lot of old champions had to go out. It's a tough sport, man. It is what it is.
Do you guys think the worst move AB made was going to 147?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Staying at 135, 140. He's he's definitely a Hall of Famer. What he's done, but standing at 135, 140, he's on that list.
There's a big debate about if he's a Hall of Famer.
Is it?
There in terms of the people that are voting for that. Yeah, that's very
okay.
That's a debate. Like I don't know if
he jumped over 140, didn't he?
He did, and then eventually won a title, the WBA title there against A.K.A, I think his name was, and so.
But I think that was the big, quote unquote, downfall was him jumping over 140 and going to 47.
Where did he fight Mike yet?
140.
Reason being though is because it gave him the opportunity to be laxed. He knew when he was making 135, he knew how hard he was working to get to that weight class. Then when he jumped to 147, was the first fight, was it Paulie?
It was at 47.
When he jumped
WBA title.
And he saw everything. He saw I'm quicker than this dude, I'm stronger than this dude, I'm faster than this dude, I got more skill than all that kind of stuff. I don't gotta work for it. And then that kind of is what became kind of the snowball effect. He not losing the work that he was doing to get to 35. And of course the other work, not just the work of working off the weight, but also trying to get sharp and all those other things. He just didn't have to work to get sharp anymore and lost it. Then now I got to turn it on so I can get sharp for a Maidana. He never did. So I can get sharp for Shawn Porter. Never did in a couple of other fights. He just kind of lost it from there, I think.
But I mean, mindset wise, you gotta think Paulie's just a stepping stone. He's not Earl Spence, Shawn Porter, Keith Thurman, Kell Brook.
But listen, at that point in time, was a high profile fight.
And he had a belt.
It was and it was for a belt, but in the money. So no, it wasn't us. Paulie wasn't us, but that made it that where you lacking in terms of like true hard contending fight. You raise all that with the money that's on and the profile of the fight and the promotion and all that kind of stuff.
It was a big fight in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he had this mindset wise, like when I'm at practice with the kids, I'm like, you want to be the best cornerback, best running back on this team? All right, cool. This is not the goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's to be the best in the country. Mm-hmm. But it's like, I don't know, maybe, like you said, maybe he got really content.
Yeah.
Beating Paulie was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then what? Or after Paulie, right to Madonna?
Madonna, yeah.
Ooh, shit.
Was this his first fight without Coach Mike Stafford? Or
No. He trained some fights with Kevin Cunningham.
Oh yeah, you're right. He was already with Kev before Mike passed anyway. I know that hit him hard.
Yeah.
So I still no excuses, but it just ain't the AB.
Well, just to close on a high note for Adrien, like I'll always say, his performance against DeMarco, that's still the best night of his career. That was a brilliant performance. Like in all, a performance that is worth a rewatch a decade later if you love boxing.
Yeah.
And if he could have stayed at lightweight longer, that'd have been great. I really wish that him and Danny would have fought at 40 when Danny was selling out at Barclays. AB was selling out at Barclays. He skipped 140.
Yeah.
And in 2013, that should have been the fight.
That would have been a really nice fight.
At Barclays.
That would have been a
hell of a fight. Hell of a fight at 140.
Styles make fights, that's perfect for both them guys.
It's been a great fight.
Yeah.
So, but he was at his best at 35, and he was a damn good lightweight.
Yeah.
And it's a shame we couldn't see him stay there longer, unify, move up to 40 instead of skipping it straight to 47 and fighting Danny, but coulda, shoulda, woulda. He was a really damn good lightweight.
Absolutely.
So yeah.
And then
I like to give him credit. Like I'm always proud of people in moments. Second half of the Madonna fight, he kept fighting. He kept fucking fighting, and I give him props for that. He kept giving that guy everything he had. He kept getting up. Sometimes you just got to give people props. I mean, if you watch the fight, all you see is the highlights. But AB kept doing his thing in that fight.
Mm-hmm.
He hurt him with a few left hooks down the stretch. Yeah.
And then last one for me on AB. I don't know what you know about him breaking out into Hollywood, but
I don't know anything. I just think it'd be cool.
The kid got more character than most people know.
Yeah.
The kid is. You already know. I always refer to people as kids in the boxing game. I don't truly mean that, but I've known AB for a very long time. Very charismatic, personality out the roof. Not afraid of anything or anyone, and I would truly love to see him break into the Hollywood world as well. But beyond that, I do want to let people know that if you've never had an opportunity to walk into AB outside of boxing, one of the coolest, funnest people to be around outside of boxing. I don't think he necessarily felt like I have to put on this face because I'm in the boxing world, but he always had this switch, and the switch always was on when he was in the boxing world. But when you outside of the boxing world and that switch is off, smart, intellectual, fun, and happy to see him in the ring. I hated to see it go this way. And I think lastly, do we expect him anymore?
Whether he continues to fight or not, his days of being a championship level fighter have been done for some years now. I just wish him the best though.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Very entertaining. Gave us a hell of a career. That's it. But
hey,
if you want to see a real down to earth AB, go back watch when he was on our show. He was real chill that interview, Sean.
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Sure.
Let's move forward real quick and do top rank last night. I just want to shout out Tiger Johnson last night.
Yep.
Had a sharp performance. Looked to me like he was looking for a knockout. opposed to just boxing and using his skills and allowing it to come. So look to me like there might have been more moments where he was kind of like just waiting on one punch and things of that nature. But I saw good head movement last night. I saw a splash of like, he had some flavor last night that I already knew he had, but it was like last night it looked like he went in there. I'm ready. I want to have some fun tonight, and I saw him have some fun. I still feel like there's another gear for him. I'm not exactly sure what that gear looks like.
He's gonna have to get that gear to compete at 140.
I'm not exactly sure what that gear looks like, but I know that there's another gear that he needs to get to.
Tap into.
But I would say this was probably close to the best performance we've seen from him so far.
Yeah, he's been put on some of the better performances than that. But
you thought better than this?
But then again, lesser opponents.
Yeah.
Right now, the quality of opponents going up and up and up.
Yeah.
But if he's gonna, what do you think this guy max out 147?
No, he's a big kid. He might end up at 54, even 160.
Okay.
Depending on how much success he's having, if he's not getting injured and hurt, things of that nature, I can see him being at 160.
But yeah, just tapping in. Definitely, we're gonna start seeing a little bit more. We're seeing a little more from Xander, Shushu. It's time to Keyshawn. Yeah. It's time for you to start taking that next step too.
Yeah.
Because the next level is AB at 140, 135, 140, 147.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I wonder what weight he's gonna really settle in and be strong at, because he's
Tell
still
me 140.
Yeah, I know he's at 40, and he's tall for the weight and has long arms.
Yeah.
I've always loved his speed. You can't teach that. Power's coming along.
Yeah.
Just wonder. I remember one time you asked me in the past, what does that mean? Like light in the ass, and he still is a little bit that at 140, but I think he's coming along good and super fast.
Yeah.
Good length and great amateur background. He's got headed for good things.
Yeah.
So.
And then Shushu.
Yes.
And the co-main did exactly what he was supposed to do. The makeup didn't look exactly how I thought it should have looked, for the sake of words, but it looked like he just had a game plan, something that he just knew what he wanted to do against this guy. I said after the second round, I don't remember exactly what I said. I think I said Shushu. I said he looks a little lackadaisical. I think that's the word I used. But he looked lax. I said lax. But he just looked a little lackadaisical, like he was trying to allow this guy to get comfortable, which I ain't got a problem with, especially when you comfortable, confident, knowing I can use my defense, which ultimately ended up being what he did. There were moments where he got hit a little more than I expected him to, and I think that's where my feeling of him being lackadaisical came from. But outside of that, man, lights out.
He's got a lot of good qualities, but maybe one of the most complimentary qualities I could give him is that he reminds me of Terrence Crawford in this one way. He's got long arms, but he's really good at mid-range. He's great in the exchanges, and he's great at being a counterpuncher in the exchanges. I think his pull counters are nasty. That's one of the prettiest parts of his game. You're talking about how he's getting touched up a little bit.
Yeah.
I wonder if part of that is he's trying to get knockouts.
Yeah.
And because he certainly has the hand speed and the athleticism to feint and to box and to turn guys a lot. And he does that sometimes, but for the most part, the last several fights, he's really trying to perfect this in the pocket pull counter game.
Yeah, we that's kind of what we were talking about before we started the show.
Yeah.
Going over to our Patreon if you want to see what we were talking about before the show. I was saying it looks to me like he's trying to find a professional pace opposed to being the fighter that he is, when you find the professional pace that really doesn't look like the 70, 80 punches around, which I think that he could do. That doesn't look like, the fast stuff setting up the power. Usually it's a little more methodical. Let me find the right punch, put it in the right place, which he can clearly do. You know what I mean? But I think that might be what it is. We're seeing him kind of find more of a professional pace and fight like that, opposed to having, even a 130 or 126?
26.
A 126 higher work rate pace. That speed that sets up the power. It doesn't remind me of him, but who was good at that was Gary Russell. Is good at that, Gary Russell Jr. He had a great way of using his speed to set up his power, and translated that well into a professional style where it was almost seamless. Like you never saw it. You just saw him improving. You never really saw like what was he doing, you know. With this one right here, it seemed like he was looking kind of like Tiger, looking for the right punch, and then not afraid to use his pull counters and work on the inside. Shushu is that guy.
Hey, he got it.
Yeah. Shushu is
I
that
agree.
guy.
I agree. He's got it.
He's a superstar, man.
Superstar is tough at featherweight to make that happen and to be up, but he's nice.
But he got the buzz already at featherweight. Yeah.
Right.
I think he might have more buzz than a lot of guys at 126.
Listen, Top Rank doing the right thing. They got him fighting at home.
Yeah.
You know, and the Big Apple.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're doing the right thing, and of course on ESPN. So
4 or 5 times a year. I feel like I see Shushu every 2 months.
yeah, we should at this point still.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, now he got it, man.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What was tantalizing about his chances? What if you love Shushu, is that he's great at this pull counter game, and that's where Neri did catch Inoue in the first round.
Yeah.
And Bruce, I said it a couple weeks ago when we originally talked about Bruce and Inoue. He needs like 18 to 24 months to gear up for Inoue. You know, he's not ready right now.
Yeah.
And what I loved about Inoue is, and we talked about this before the show, was him showing up and acknowledging this guy who's not even a champion yet, but he's being intellectually honest. This kid's really good.
Yeah.
This kid's got buzz in America.
Yeah.
I'm in town to receive my Fighter of the Year award anyways.
Yeah.
I'm going to show up and acknowledge the talent. I'm not going to downplay it. I'm not going to downplay the next hungry lion coming after what I got, what I've worked so hard to get. No, I see you, young man. And just so the whole world knows, I came here to see him. I'm leaving after his fight. And that's being a true champion on Inoue's part. I respect that. And that's an antithesis to how stars can move once they become superstars. So, but all that said, he did get caught against Neri in the counters, in the exchanges. And that is a very strong part of Bruce Carrington's game. And he's not a little 118-pounder like Luis Neri. He doesn't have conditioning issues like Luis Neri. He's got longer arms than Luis Neri. So if Shushu can keep doing his part and building and getting better and looking impressive, this is the Naseem Hamed coming to America, Kevin Kelly fight. And maybe Bruce can make it go the other way. And not but that fight, Hamed and Kelly, what was so great is there was 1 million knockdowns in 4 rounds, and Kelly was there to knock out the knockout artist. And I think Bruce, it would be kind of similar in that vein. And so I hope Bruce can continue. He's on his way to the WBO title.
Yeah. Well, Bruce, he'll be coming in the next week or two. So he's got some big news. He said he wanted to drop here at the PorterWay Podcast first. Okay. So we'll get him in the next week or so.
What are you making that happen?
Next week.
Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Oh, yeah.
You know you can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it either. What I hated about this whole fight is the belts. I'm like, why ain't giving him belts? Hey, I shout to Shushu. Even he was like,
I didn't.
It's kind of like when they gave Shawn a belt. I ain't gonna say which. It don't matter anymore. They gave Shawn a silver belt. Shawn didn't want the fucking belt.
No, I didn't.
That was Shushu. Yep.
Yeah.
That was Shushu last night. He's like,
no, listen.
It's like, take it, Shawn, or they're not going to let you fight for the real one.
The funny thing is, I didn't see this part of the. I didn't see this part.
Shawn, I'm like,
where they. So I'm seeing it now, right? But it was before Hafey made it, before he made it big, and it was just like small, and I was over here while you was talking. I said, "What belt is that?"
Shushu wasn't really going for it. It's just like, all right. Like, this ain't the goal.
Part of the game.
Shout out to the belt people, man. Y'all belt people or something.
It's like, you want me to take a picture with this and smile and you'll give me the title shot? All right.
Let's go. Xander Zayas.
No, it's like when somebody give you that ugly baby. Like, I guess I'll take a picture with you. Shawn, you know you done that couple
I ain't never.
Shout out to the lady in L.A. on the
she's going to kill you
the
now.
Mikey Garcia fight. Shawn took a picture with your baby and said your baby was ugly. I
don't know either. I don't think.
Okay, Xander, right.
Yeah, come on, let's get to Xander.
Dang. Hey, man, he had a tough opponent last night. Gave him some rounds. Was there to fight. Pushed him.
Was there to didn't try to win.
I ain't saying win.
Right. Was there to fight.
Just there to throw.
Right.
And you need to start training, man.
Oh, I ain't ready. That ain't
start training.
I'm
I'm just
ready.
saying
I'm gonna
now.
get knocked out.
You need to start training. Yeah, I mean, it was a one-sided fight. I think even though we knew the background of his opponent. How do you pronounce his last name, please?
Teixeira.
Even though we knew his background and we saw the fight that he had against Adames and things like that. I mean, I didn't expect him to beat Adames, and he did that. We still knew what this was supposed to look like. I think it looked how it was supposed to look. Would you agree?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, they probably, Xander and Top Rank probably wanted it to end in a stoppage. So from that perspective, didn't quite look like what they wanted. But he won every round. Maybe Teixeira got one later on in the fight. But so what I liked, there was good and bad. What the good from Xander is that his skills are developing nicely, especially the way he was catching punches and this hand, if he's throwing with this is up. Throwing with this, so he was moving his head, dipping underneath shots, good punch selection. In some of the middle rounds, I thought he started good and ended pretty good too. In some of those middle rounds, they weren't as impressive. I thought he came out impressive, good punch selection, good sense of distance.
He's going to start every fight like that. He's a high energy guy, so every fight's gonna start the way that it started. I'm sorry, but to cut you off. But to your point, I felt like there were some middle rounds where he might. I don't know what it was, but he kind of pulled back on some of the things that he was doing, and Teixeira is going to take those opportunities. Again, not necessarily
trying
in
to
there
win
to lose, but not necessarily in there trying to win.
Right.
But also very smart, educated, and a competitor. So
and a tall mover.
And he took moments that he saw, he actually were able to capitalize and get him.
He did touch him up a couple times, walked him into a few. But Xander, I liked his defense. For being a guy on the front foot against a tall, awkward guy who's not trying to win, but he is trying to sneak you as much as he can. He did good on the defensive side. Not the problem for Xander, but the thing is, man, is they don't want good. They want the next Tito Trinidad, the next Miguel Cotto. And he may actually have better skills than those guys at his age in some ways, right? But but the issue is he's not the heavy-handed puncher they were. Cotto had a brick for a left hand, and Tito's left hand was even better, and he had a brick in the other hand, in the right hand. He doesn't have bricks. He's got pop. He's got definitely respectable power. But he's not this extraordinarily gifted fighter. He has gifts. He's a talented kid. But so he's going to have to continue to let his skills progress like they are, because he doesn't quite have the natural power that these other great Puerto Ricans, Wilfredo Gomez, Tito Trinidad, and Cotto with the left hook had.
I think he can work his way into outside of that
He's
stuff.
still growing. He's only
that
21.
stuff is like kind of more so God-given, naturally gifted things that those guys possessed it. But I think he can work his way into developing a style, different techniques that can create some of the things that you're talking about. He's young and he's got time. He's got some time. I think it looks like he's maybe a year away from where Top Rank want him to probably contend for a world championship title.
Are we ready for 2028? Xander versus Boots or versus Ortiz?
2028?
Yeah.
That's too far away.
4 years.
Yeah.
That's boxing.
Tripping, ain't he?
That's true, though.
I don't know why y'all tripping.
No, you're right. He's right.
I don't know why y'all
He's
tripping. You know how long stuff gets.
You are correct. No, you are so
y'all
right.
know how long it takes. I know y'all like.
If it happens, even by then.
It's going to have to come down to World War II. That's how we get fights.
We already won that one. We're headed to 3, baby.
No, don't do that.
We're trying to go 3. We're trying to stay. No,
wait, I need 50 years so y'all go to 3. I need to get out of here.
Xander, another really good performance, though.
Yeah.
Solid performance.
B+?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say
I would have killed for B+ back in the day, so it's not like,
Yeah, B+.
Gotta drop him or stop him to get to the A's.
Hey, I was gonna say I'm a little slightly fearful of A-, but he's teetering right there with B+, A-. So
so young, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
And a great kid.
Yeah,
great kid.
But no, really, when these guys get to championship level, 154 is going to be interesting. It's a lot of contenders on their way. It's going to be there and on their way there.
Yeah,
that's going to make it real fun.
They just signed Vito.
Shout out to Vito.
So that's that's it. Yeah.
Say it again.
Malicky. His name.
It's Milnicki, Anthony.
Oh, damn.
What's the matter?
It's just Vito.
Vito.
He said Shmata.
Vito.
Vito.
The last name. Yeah, never mind. I was going to say it might be Polish. He's half Polish, and no, this is his father's name.
Y'all street?
No.
Yeah,
That's Paisan.
You sure?
God bless
I
him.
don't want your mom family to murder his mom.
No.
What's going on here?
I was just saying, wait, is the
know.
last name actually Polish? But no, it's his father's last. His father's Italian.
Yeah. He get a pass in your neighborhood?
For what?
I don't know.
I hope I get a pass in his. He's the tough guy, not me. You know? Yeah.
Hey, yo, let's move on real quick and let's do let's preview this fight. Pull out your notes.
Go ahead, take it, Frank.
First, let's do real quick. Let's do Benavidez and his opponent.
Gvozdyk.
What is Gvozdyk? Yes,
I believe the G's might be silent.
Yeah.
Like Django.
Gvozdyk.
The J.
Like lasagna.
Gvozdyk.
Like lasagna.
Gvozdyk.
Italian.
There you go.
What you got for us on Gvozdyk? I do know that he was a former world champion. He's been out of the ring. I think was he at like 1 or 2 fights in the last
3.
3 fights in the last.
2 knockouts. One of the last 2, I believe, by knockout.
Yeah.
That first one, a 6th rounder.
But it was on like a 5-year.
Yeah, he was gone for a couple years. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I think Beterbiev was 2018.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I thought
Coming
you had
from
your
Disneyland
notes. No
with
biggie.
2 kids. I got notes on Tank and Frank.
But this should be a good.
It was 2019. Yeah.
This should be a good fight
Stepped away for 3.5 years.
where we see
2 knockouts and 3 wins.
someone for the first time in a very long time in the ring with Benavidez with David, his size,
Yes.
um,
And he looked huge at their press conference.
with skill
Last
as
month.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I always like to say, like, once you get to 68, there's always a separation. 147, I believe, is the weight class that has both speed and power and everything else that comes with being a fighter. I think 147 is the division that you can find if you're trying to create a machine into a fighter. I always like to say, I would always tell people, if you were trying to create a machine to be a fighter, you would be creating a Marvin Hagler. I felt like Marvin Hagler was the complete fighter, even though 154 was his weight class.
60.
160 was his weight class.
Yeah.
But I think that at 47 you have it all. Even at 160, you have a lot of fighters that are just have power, or you have other fighters that just have speed. You don't really have a lot that have the combinations of both speed and power and quickness and every single intangible. 47, I think you got that. 168 and 75, again, more so big guys with power. You don't got the guys like David, big with speed and can move and durability and the whole 9. You know what I mean? So I think for the first time in a long time, he's getting in the ring with somebody that fits his bill, for the sake of words.
Well, I said last week, too, in some ways, it's a little bit of a tough spot for David because you're fighting who's thought of as a washed fighter, right?
Yeah.
A past it guy.
Yeah.
But he's only lost once, and it was to the best light heavyweight in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the guy who's the champion of the division. Maybe Bivol is actually the best. We'll find out if and when they get that done.
Right.
But, you know, he was super competitive in the Beterbiev fight. He was actually ahead of that fight midway through. Hit him with everything he had. And Beterbiev walked through it and then walked through him.
Durability, yeah.
And
Yeah.
he's looked very he's looked very solid in his 3 fights since. I don't know if he's the old Gvozdyk, and part of me questions with him, like Kell Brook against Terrence Crawford, where the jab still looks good, the moves still look good, speed is still pretty good. Once he gets hit, that's when he looks old.
Right.
And I could see that being the case with Gvozdyk. I could see Gvozdyk outboxing Benavidez early because Plant outboxed Benavidez early. Andrade, before he got dropped in the 3rd round by that sweeping right hand, arguably was up 2-0. So you could do. David doesn't have the quickest feet. Gvozdyk has educated feet, Ukrainian style, step around you. He's got a great right hand. So maybe Gvozdyk jumps out and looks like himself in this, like the champion, the guy who was the lineal legit champ, beat Adonis Stevenson. And then once Benavidez turns it on,
Durability.
cracks him, it gets in Benavidez' favor in a hurry.
Yeah.
I expect Benavidez to stop him, but
How does it look?
I think kind of like I'm describing. I think Gvozdyk is going to get off to a solid start.
That was a hypothetical question for the fans, not
Oh,
for him.
okay.
Well, it sounded like, honestly, I thought you was asking me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, tell us now. How's it look?
If you was gonna bet on it,
If I was going to bet on it, I'd probably favor Benavidez mid to late round stoppage. Inside of 10 rounds. Probably inside of 10 rounds. He probably gets hit with the right hand early, gets touched up a little bit early, and then once he breaks a sweat, catches a rhythm, starts to find the range, probably won't be easy early because Gvozdyk is a good fighter. But David is one of the most prolific offensive fighters in boxing. You touched on it. His secret sauce is that he's fast.
Yeah.
He's not just big and punches hard. He's got great hand speed.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
am I tripping as I tell? Mostly David knockouts are like the refs getting in and stopping it, like TKOs.
They
Like,
are.
He just getting his ish off.
They are.
Keep training.
But guys, when they feel David early,
Keep training.
they like I remember Kyron Davis was tough and came to win a lot. Romero, Alexis Angulo, Ellis. I've seen these guys not punch out of the high guard once he starts to run those combinations, and the big one punch knockout is gonna come like Broner was able to take Pacquiao and Shawn and Mikey's best, and then he gets dropped against Cobbs. It's because he's coming forward. A lot of these guys, once they feel David early, they're not coming forward. They're not trying to exchange with him.
Yeah.
And so it's hard for him to land that home run shot. And that's why he's had to settle for they're hot, they're on the gloves, and he's just banging away with combinations, and the ref comes in and calls it a night.
Am I tripping, or did I say once upon a time ago that in order for us to see Benavidez in the ring with someone who could truly compete with him outside of what Caleb Plant was able to do, and also my boo-boo, but also we got to consider the durability on top of that. You know, it's one thing to compete, but then when you're getting hit, can you still compete? I felt like I said that it had to be some Eastern Europeans that could get in that would get in the ring with him and truly challenge him.
Not back down, so to speak.
For the sake of words, yeah.
Well, that is what's interesting about this fight is he's gotten that rep as a weight bully because he's a big kid who could squeeze down to 68. He's really been a light heavyweight fighting at super middleweight. But here's the thing that the David critics discount is he's probably going to be better and stronger at 75. So he's fighting bigger guys, but he's now bigger and stronger himself, not
And
killing
faster
himself.
than him, which means this punch is going to get there first with the pop, break you down, boom, boom, boom. I don't really know how this fight's going to look. I'm looking forward to seeing the fight as a whole, but I will be obviously David Benavidez. I think is one of the few guys that we said is going to retire undefeated. So
What's his 175?
Yeah.
So should he go down to like 170? Sean, just like kind of stay at what we always talk about, or should you?
No,
We always talk about that.
Yeah.
With fighters.
If he's in shape, we'll see. He may weigh in at 73. He may weigh in at 74. To me, that makes sense.
Here's the real question. If he looks dynamite at 75,
Yeah.
does he go back to 68 for all that money and all the belts against
That's
Canelo?
where it's at.
Or does he say though, Antt, money be damned, I'm a better fighter at this weight. I gotta do me.
No,
And
he goes back down.
You're being realistic.
Goes
He's
back
not gonna
down.
turn down the money.
He's not going to turn down the money or that legacy fight. Canelo is the guy. Don't forget, David wants to be known as the guy. In order to be known as the guy, it ain't no lineal title. It's beating the guy. He's going back down to 68 for that fight. It ain't gonna be there for him, but he would willingly kill himself to get to 68, just so he could rehydrate, come back in the ring, feeling good, looking across to the ring, saying, "Y'all, I've been waiting on this." You know. I'm genuinely asking, is that a case of, well, if it's coming down to you draining yourself to 68, if you're not going to be a 100% David Benavidez, is it starting to turn into a all money isn't good money thing, as much money as it is? Is he on record for draining himself to get to 68 at this point?
No, he's not.
So,
but
obviously, we know once you move up to a weight class, usually it's harder to get back down. We do know that.
Right.
So, but this guy Sampson has never given me any inclination that making 168 has been the issue for him. To me, this seems more like also an emotional move too. I can't get him at 168. I've done everything else at 68. I'm moving up. You know what I mean? So it seems a little bit, not calling them emotional, but like, hey, we ain't getting it down there. We're going to go up here and get it, you know?
We're making our point that much more clear by even going to a different weight class.
Exactly. Tank and Frank, pull it out.
Main event.
And we're going to start with you, Antt. Go for it. What you
Tank
got?
and Frank, man. Man. You know, Frank, my guy.
I know, I can tell.
Frank, my guy. Patience is key to fighting Tank Davis.
Yeah.
Patience and being able to take a punch and be able to deliver a punch.
Yeah.
You're going to have to keep him off of you. Once he gets comfortable and realize you ain't got nothing, he's coming. But at the same time, I felt like Ryan was performing okay. Rolly was performing okay. They just got impatient, and the inexperience showed in those moments. Hopefully, Derrick James can get my man on pace. I'm going with the Derrick James effect. That will help Frank.
Yeah.
Frank, hopefully you got that ring IQ. You're gonna need everything to beat this guy. It is what it is. You know that. I know that. We know that.
Have you seen that Frank don't got that? You've seen what I'm saying is you've seen everything that you just mentioned. We've seen Frank have all of that.
Yeah.
We've seen Frank listen to Derrick James.
Yeah.
We've seen them come to the ring with a game plan.
We've been in the corner.
Yeah.
So it's just
And seen him dig deep against Artem Hardatuni. Some people thought that fight was getting away from him.
Yeah.
He sweeps the last 3 rounds and drops him in the 12th.
Guy 12. Yep. So it's
Wasn't that weird? Like the dude didn't get it, like got up on 10 or something like that.
Yeah, he
and
took a
got
knee,
waved off.
No, he didn't get waved off. It was, he made it through the round.
Okay.
But
Maybe that's a different fight. I'm thinking of something completely different.
I think ever since Frank, we always knew about the Frank with the buzz, but then he beat my man, the Muhammad Ali haircut guy.
Michelle Rivera.
Michelle
It was supposed to be a 50-50 type fight. He
Yep.
dominated.
I think that's the one we,
Yeah.
That's the one we were
a
at.
beautiful performance.
It was.
And I think he had one law since he's been on that he's been on that.
It was
level.
the Hardatunian fight. People didn't love what they
It wasn't
saw.
the greatest performance. This fight, Frank, you got to bring everything. Got to bring the power, the patience. Listen to your corner. Derrick James, you're gonna have to outcoach Coach Calvin. It's one
Two
of those
good
things.
coaches.
Yeah, I was about to say.
If anybody can do it, it's Derrick James.
Yeah.
He's had some. He's been on the wrong side. A lot of fights. In his last couple fights, he's been on the wrong side of. But I think, what's the last performance with Ryan?
It was.
Yeah.
But that one may not hold.
Yeah, it may not hold. But if you get this one, Derek, it rights all the wrongs. But man, at the end of the day, Tank is Tank. Yeah. Hey, you've been in jail. Don't matter. Tank is Tank. Tank. I tell you guys all the time. I still don't think we've seen the best boxing Tank yet. Yeah. And with his boxing skills and the power. Yeah. It's something special, man. Yeah. I told somebody I got this ending 8 to 11. Ooh. They said it's going 12, Anthony. Yeah. I said, Frank's my guy. I'm pulling Frank. That's gotta be real, man. I gotta be real, man. I got Tank in this one. It hurt. It breaks my heart. Only person I wouldn't pick against is Sean and Shay. Man, it breaks my heart to go against my guy.
Go ahead, Zatel. Go ahead,
Zatel. Give him the real, Zatel.
I'm picking Davis as well. Late.
I thought you flicked it up.
No, I'm picking Davis late in the fight. He's been under those bright lights a lot, and this is Frank's first time underneath him. Man. Yeah, and here's the thing, though. Martin, he's a live dog because he's a serious fighter. He's a disciplined fighter. He's an in-shape fighter. He's an athletic fighter who isn't just an athlete. He has skills, too, and good pop. And he feels like he did good in the sparring against Tank, so he's not scared of Tank. He's not going to be in awe of him, despite it being his first time under the lights. Right. The thing that Tank does risk in this fight, I love this, too, because Shawn put me onto the right verbiage, jazzy. And, when fighters catch their rhythm and they can start pulling and doing all kinds of things, Tank's more that guy than Frank. Frank matches Tank in a lot of areas of speed and athleticism, but Tank is more loose. He started boxing as a little kid. Frank didn't start until he's a teenager, so he's a little looser. When he gets into a rhythm, he can start pulling and doing all kinds of jazzy stuff. And Frank, even though he can match him in a lot of those areas, isn't going to get jazzy like Tank is, right? But if Tank, I agree with Errol Spence when Errol was talking about Tank can't give away early rounds in this fight like he's used to. not saying he can't and still can't catch him later on. He very well might. Yeah. But it's more risky against Frank Martin because Frank Martin isn't Mario Barrios, Ryan Garcia, Rolly Romero. Once you decide to turn it up, he's not just going to stay in front of you if you've given him a rhythm. He can catch a rhythm, and now he's fighting. He's turning you. He's fighting off the back foot. He's setting up counters. It's not just Rolly Barrios and these guys who are in Santa Cruz, and they're in front of you. Now I want to turn it up, and they're in front of me.
That's my thing with this fight. Question for you: does this fight have sentiments of Zab Judah versus Floyd Mayweather at all? No. Outside of them being an orthodox and a southpaw.
No, I don't think so. I think if we're headed to an upset, and again, I'm picking Davis, there's a little bit of Canelo Bivol going on, where I don't think Tank is coming in quite as overconfident as Canelo did. I mean, Canelo had the aura of invincibility at that time, well deserved. He was running through the sport. But what the similarity is, and Frank's not as accomplished as Bivol is at this. But Bivol was a world champion. Frank isn't. But he's a young, undefeated, in his prime, capable guy. Yeah. Who believes he can win, and he's switched on. He's got a game plan for this whole thing. Yeah. And Tank, like Canelo's, got to be feeling himself. Yeah. Got to be feeling like this is just another guy. Yeah. Before I get to the big guys that everybody wants. And by the way, on that note, Tank continues to fight good opposition, but if he wants to be the Dundada, this has got to be one of the last good oppositions, and he needs to fight a fellow pound-for-pound elite guy to get there. But it's another good win. He beat Cruz. That win's aged great. Beat Ryan. Good win. Beating Santa Cruz. Good win. Pedraza. Barrios. Good win. Santa Cruz a little bit small coming up. Barrios a little weight drained at 140. Better at 47, but good wins. So I think this is going to be another good win against another really good, capable fighter. Yeah. So, But
real quick, we as y'all know, we do DraftKings. This is one right here where I love draft. So DraftKings will send me odds so that they can post what I think people should bet on. I will tell people to bet on a 12-round decision. Okay. Or bet on a late Tank stoppage.
Speaking of betting, Sean, me as a businessman, I'm pick Tank. I got 250 on Frank.
I'm not mad at you.
Because the odds is just crazy.
Let me
what
tell
is he
y'all
right
what,
now?
Plus 450.
Let me tell y'all what and I did not do this because I knew it was going here, but Tank is a lot like Daniel Jacobs. Just an athlete, talented, and decided to get into this, and this is what he's doing now. And he has really just formed and became a really good boxer he seems to have a really good boxing eye. He seems to have some IQ, which I think also has been pushed by Derek James as well. Derek has taught him how to think in the ring, think on his own. Now? Yes. Okay. Think in the ring on his own, be able to see things on his own, and it's not going back to the corner every round. Coach, what did I miss? It's going back to the corner. Hey, Coach, do you see this? Do you see that? Kind of. That's where I think Frank is at now. Frank is I think, probably one of the best athletes that we'll see Tank in the ring with to this point.
Probably the best.
The best opponent. The best opponent.
Just as fast. I'm not
the most
gonna,
proven opponent, but maybe the toughest matchup.
I'm not gonna say he's just as strong and just as powerful, but the kid got pop. I don't give a damn about you shaking your head.
No, he got some pop, but he got that pop.
The kid
that
got
pop is
pop.
different.
Listen, the Tank got some pop, but let's talk about the other side of that. I always say this. When we talk about power, the two things we need to be talking about is the precision of the punch, which we know Tank got, but also everybody that he's hit has been coming into the punch. Patience. Which adds to, but it adds to when you say he ain't got that pop, he ain't got that pop. Well, that's because people been coming into it, making it. That's a big car crash opposed to somebody driving that way and getting hit.
Leo Santa Cruz.
There's a difference.
Leo Santa Cruz.
Leo was coming back into that punch too. He was coming back into that punch too.
Three right hands in a row and stood right in front of him. Like that's what I led off with. That's what's dangerous about this fight.
Yeah.
You go down 3 or 4 rounds to Martin. He's not there.
He not there, and he's good with a counter as well.
I'm about to add another 100.
I'm telling y'all, this is a great fight. I wish fighting was promoted a little bit differently. I wish that there was more towards both fighters instead of one side.
Or promoted at all.
Because I think there's so much more you could say about Frank.
No, it's been promoted a little bit.
There's so much more you could say about Frank. And I'm not saying it just because we cool with him. Like, game recognized game. The dude is a legit threat until the fight ends.
So someone got mad at me because I said I'm giving him about 35-40% chance. What? Who is this guy? I said, you don't know boxing.
If I That's why you're saying it. On it.
I'm giving him
60-40. I'm not mad at
shot.
45-55. I'm not mad at 45-55.
And the same thing I told Frank. I said, man, don't worry about what nobody else. It's all matter.
I think it's 50-50, but it's not 50-50, but it ain't far off.
Yeah.
It ain't far off.
He's like one of y'all. He is a live dog.
Yeah, he's worth a run for the money for sure.
Yeah, he's worth.
Gotta be. I mean, you hit it. You said it all. Gotta be patient. Gotta be thinking. And this is a round by round fight, and that's how Coach Derek coaches. Coach Derek James coaches round by round.
Adjusting.
Yeah, round by round. This is our game plan, and this is what we're going to do the entirety. We're going to make certain adjustments and things like that.
So somebody gave me also pushback. They said Derek James is a hell of a coach, but his boxers hasn't been able to execute against the elite guys. Is this one of the boxers that can execute against the elite guys?
Listen,
Spence wasn't able to do it. Charlo wasn't able to do it.
Well, respectfully, Spence also got in the ring with me and executed against me.
Yeah, I know. But
no, I'm saying, I got all respect.
I got you.
Where I knew I was winning that fight, that he still was there the whole way. Yeah. A lot like this fight can be the whole way.
Was it masterful execution, or did he just dog it out and pull it out in the end?
Well, well, against me, you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I think
if you had legit pop, Sean, he would beat it.
I think the knockdown, and then I think honestly, I gave up the 12th round. And I don't think he necessarily dogged out the 12th round, but I didn't dog it out either. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the separation in that fight for him and I. But
in Terrence, it was a skill level.
Yeah,
I'm way more skilled. I'm not gonna
dog
you out like Shawn Porter.
Yeah,
I'm more skilled than you.
Yeah,
and you about to see this.
Yeah,
and obviously Canelo with Charlo.
Great fight. This might I would bet it goes 12 rounds. This is gonna be a good fight.
I bet
skilled fight.
My money is on
speed and yeah.
Enjoy it, yo.
My money's on Martin.
Enjoy it. People don't be understanding that fast chest stuff. Man. This gonna be good.
Yeah.
This gonna be good.
I got a major question.
Uh-oh.
And I want. Oh yeah. And before I do it, selfishly, the biggest storyline in this fight was my interview with Frank after they sparred. I was there when they sparred. Interviewed Frank after.
At Shawn Porter on YouTube. Dumbass name of a show.
It was on a good name. It was on Fight Hype, that interview. So like an actual smart name.
Did you see they use your video that night?
They did. They used the interview on the gloves off.
Oh yeah.
They did. Yeah.
That's exactly.
So, but anyway, now I made that stupid selfish point. The major question for this fight for me, and I'm curious what insight you could give on this, Sean, is Tank. In the middle, once he gets revved up in the middle portions of the fight, and then it comes in waves. Once that first wave starts in the middle of the fight, usually he'll start to rip accurate, well-placed shots, both hands, speed and power. Mm-hmm. And once he does that, it's like you would think if you try to just defensively maneuver out of the way of everything, he's too fast, too accurate. You might not. Maybe that'll work. Maybe that will work. Maybe just stay off the back foot, get into prevent defense, clinch him when you need to, and when that wave is done, get back to your work. Is that kind of the answer, or is the answer what Zhang did to Wilder? Right when he thinks that he's having that moment, boom, you counter him with something he doesn't see coming.
What I would do. That's what I think they should do.
What do you think
they should be ready to take control at the beginning of the fight, knowing that Tank is more than likely going to start at a certain pace. But once he tries to turn it on, a lot like he does with everyone else, they got to be ready to deliver something to basically make him turn it off. The other side of that coin, though, is the fact that when we have seen Tank turn it on, he's turning on against people who cannot move. He's turning on against people who are not fast.
Yeah.
He's turning on
Terrible
against
feet.
people who are not southpaws. He's turning on against guys who ain't as skillful. It's a whole lot on this one.
And Frank is all.
I know people
It
be
was
like
50-50 for you.
I know people be like, wait till Tank turn it on. All right, wait till Tank turn it on, and then we'll see what happens. And I don't think this gonna be the same kind of turn on that we seen in the past.
What does Tank do if he turns it on and hit him with some shit?
If he turn it on and Frank just keeps sliding,
and still-
it ain't there. And keeps sliding, it ain't there.
That's a moment he never.
Well,
been
here's
through.
the thing, though. What
No,
if
I mean he's probably seen that, but not in no 3-minute, 12-round championship fight. You know?
But what if this isn't the typical Tank because he's not fighting a tall guy? Because when he fought Hector Garcia, you got to see more than just the high guard against a tall guy, getting low, getting underneath him, and then delivering with power. When he's fighting someone who has his own arm length, like Hector, he's able to get jazzier quicker and pull and drop the lead hand.
And this is a southpaw, so now you don't have to worry about, is this jab gonna connect? Is this jab gonna land? All of the angles are there, just a little different. So now he has the ability to actually turn it on a little bit more. But the other side of that we gotta understand is that Tank is naturally a counterpuncher. He's a counterpuncher who can be aggressive and can be big and get on you whenever he wants to. The other side of that is Frank is a counterpuncher by nature, but also will use this to set something up and feint and is more active. And that's what makes this fight so fun. I'm looking forward to it. I hope y'all are. I hope you guys enjoyed the PorterWay Podcast today. Motivation. Who's got something for me?
Man, I ain't got nothing for you.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
No, nothing for you.
Yeah.
All right, here then. Yeah, go.
No, I don't want to force. It's about fatherhood. I don't know if anyone.
No, I was going there. Go.
Just on a personal note, I don't know how well people can incorporate it into their lives. I was with Disneyland with my family, fresh off, not the plane, but the car. One day it'll be fresh off the plane. but
Right.
Fresh
I
off
was
the
like
car.
this morning. I was like, you drive everywhere.
Yeah, fresh off the car.
You do.
And, we all love our children. And
Yes.
I think we all think about that fine line between loving them and giving them things that'll make them happy and not spoiling them and being disciplined. And, I just went to God after our first day in Disneyland where I'm wanting to make sure I'm doing that the right way by my family.
Yes, sir.
And God just comes into my heart and just says, just love your son and everything will fall into place. Just love your
on
kid
now.
and you'll be all right.
I'm so happy you went there. I looked at you and I was gonna go with fatherhood because I knew you had just got off the road. And then when you went there, and I was like, all right, cool. He went there. I'm gonna go a different way. And then you pulled God into it. I'm like, damn, there it is. So I'm talking to my guy the
Don't
other
cuss
day.
when you say God.
Okay. This is the motivation for today. There is a scripture. I don't know exactly where that scripture is or exactly how it's stated, but we all know that scripture. Spare the rod, spoil the child.
Right.
And this is what I'm going to tell you guys. The rod is whatever you decide that rod to be. The rod don't necessarily have to be a switch off the bush in the back. It ain't got to be the belt off your waist. That rod can be speaking to your child. That rod can be the corner. That rod can be timeout. That rod can be sitting down and having a intellectual conversation to help your child. That rod is whatever you choose it to be. I choose not to whip my kids for the sake of words. We have moments where I got to get the paddle. But for the most part, I try not to whip my children because I want to give them a little different of what was given to me. But I've decided what I want my rod to be. Find your rod. Don't spoil your child. And this is the PorterWay.